All right, Edgemont fifth graders, welcome once again to another episode of Math with Mr. Kirsch. If you guys are taking notes, go ahead and open up your notes to a full clean sheet of paper, and we're going to write this at the top. So today we're going to talk about how we can multiply decimals by tens, hundreds, and thousands. So I'm going to write a few expressions here on the board, and I want to see if you guys can figure out the pattern. So here's our first one. What if I take 1/10 and I multiply it by 10? And I'm going to say the answer to that is 1, or maybe 1 decimal 0. What if I have something like 12 hundredths and I'm going to multiply that one by 10? And I say the answer to that is 1 decimal 2, or 1 2/10. Do you guys see a pattern yet? Okay, let me try one more. How about this one? How about 49 hundredths times 10? And I'm going to say the answer to that is 4 9/10, or 4 decimal 9. Do you guys see a pattern to that? So we say 1/10 times 10 is 1, or 1 decimal 0. 12 hundredths times 10 is 1 2/10, or 1 decimal 2. And 49 hundredths times 10 is 4 decimal 9. So the answer, if you guys notice, is every time we multiply a decimal by 10, our decimal moves one place to the right. So go ahead and write that. Making sure it's going to show up on the board, okay? When you multiply a decimal by 10, move the decimal one place to the right. Okay? I'll give you a moment to see that. If you want to take a moment to write it in your boards. As you're doing that, think about this. I'm going to write a couple more. So, what if, I'm going to leave this part up here on the right. Let's look at a couple more. What if I had something like, 48 thousandths, 48 thousandths times 10. Okay, if we apply that rule, when you multiply a decimal by 10, move the decimal one place to the right. So if we move that decimal one place to the right, we're going to have 48 hundredths. Excellent. How about something like this? What if I had 5 and let's say 489 thousandths, and I multiply that by 10? Okay, we're multiplying the decimal by 10. Our rule says that we move that decimal one place to the right. So 5 and 489 thousandths times 10 is going to be 54 89 hundredths, because we took that decimal and we moved it one place to the right. Okay, let's look at what happens when we multiply decimals by hundreds. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at, let's say, what if we have 3 thousandths times 100. And I'm going to say the answer to that is, do you guys see a pattern? Let's look at another one. What happens if I have, let's say, 12 3/100ths, and we'll multiply that by 100. And I'm going to say the answer to that is 1,203. Okay, so what did you guys notice? You guys see a pattern? Okay, so we say that 3 thousandths times 100 is 3/10, and 12 3/100ths times 100 is 1,203. You can even say it's like that. Okay, so the answer to this is that our decimal, when we multiply it by 100, is the decimal moves 2 places to the right. So go ahead and put that in your notes, or just remember that, and I'll put this on here. When you multiply a decimal by 100, Okay? So when you multiply a decimal by 100, we move that decimal 2 places to the right. So if you look right here, we're multiplying this decimal by 100. So we're moving that decimal 2 places to the right. So this becomes that. We have 12 and 300ths times 100. We're multiplying by 100, so we're moving it 2 places to the right. So 12 and 300ths becomes 1,203. Let's put another couple of examples in our notes, or just for practice. What if we have something like 13 thousandths times 100? Okay, we're multiplying it by 100, so we're moving that decimal 2 places to the right. 1, 2. So it becomes 1 and 3/10. What if I have something like 4 and 900ths, and I'm multiplying that by 100? Okay, we're multiplying this number by 100, so we're moving it 2 places to the right. 1, 2. So we have 419, or 419.0. Okay, let's take a look at multiplying numbers by 1,000, or multiplying decimals by 1,000. So let's say like that we have something like, I'm going to put a couple examples in here, let's see if you can figure it out. 2 and 9/10 times 1,000. And I'm going to say the answer to that is 2,900. Okay, what if I had something like this? 1,200, I'm sorry, 1 and 259 thousandths times 1,000. Okay, and I'm going to say the answer to that is 125 and 9/10. What do you guys think the answer is, or what do you think the pattern is, or the rule is for multiplying numbers by 1,000? Yes, our decimal moves 3 places to the right. So let's go ahead and put that into our notes. So when you multiply a decimal by 1,000, move the decimal 3 places to the right. Okay, so if we look at this one right here, we're multiplying this decimal by 1,000. We could even sneak a couple of zeros in there to help us out with that. So if we move it 3 places to the right, 1, 2, 3, 2,900. We've got 1 and 259 thousandths. We're multiplying it by 1,000. We're going to move that decimal 3 places to the right. 1, 2, 3. Whoops! I made a mistake right there. That's supposed to be 1,250. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So yes, I made a mistake. I'm sorry about that. Okay, what if I had something like, what if I had something like this? 3 and 900ths times 1,000. Okay, multiplying it by 1,000, so we're moving it 3 places to the right. 1, 2, let's put another 0 in there. So we've got 3,090. Let's say like something, what if I had something like this? 475 thousandths times 1,000. We're moving it 3 places to the right. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 4,750. 4,750. All right. So now we're going to kind of challenge you a little bit more, bring up the challenge just a little bit. Because you're not always going to be multiplying decimals by 10, or exactly 10, exactly 100, and exactly 1,000. Sometimes you're going to have one that's going to look like this. So what if I had something like 3/10 times, let's say like, 20. So we got to think back to earlier on in the year when we were multiplying regular whole numbers by tens, hundreds, and thousands. What method have we talked about that can help us make this just a little bit easier? Remember the break apart method? Which one of these numbers can we break apart real easy? We can break apart the 20. So 20 can be broken apart into, let's say 20 can be broken apart into 2 and 10. So now we can take this 3/10 and multiply it by 2. So we can take, so if we want to do a little bit of side math to stack them a little bit, making it easy. Okay, so 3/10 times 2 is going to be 6/10. And if we multiply that by 10, we move that decimal how many places to the right? 1 place to the right. So it becomes 6. So 3/10 times 20 is going to be 6. All right, let's look at another example using the break apart method. What if we had something like, 44 hundredths? We're going to multiply that by, let's say, 30. Okay, which one of these numbers can we break apart? Well, we can break apart the 30, and 30 is going to be broken apart into 3 and 10. So now we can multiply that by our 44 hundredths. We can do a little bit of side math if we need to. So 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 4 is 12 again, plus the 1 is 13. Carry the 1, 3 times 0 is 0, plus the 1 is 1. 2 decimal places here, 2 decimal places there. So we've got 1 and 32 hundredths times 10. Because we're multiplying by 10, we're going to move that decimal 1 place to the right. It's going to move right there, so that's going to equal 13 and 2/10. Let's go ahead and take a look at these, the break apart method, and let's try it with multiplying by multiples of 100 and 1,000. So let's say, let's try this one. How about 8 tenths times 200? Which one of these numbers can we break apart? Well, we can break apart the 200, and 200s can be broken apart into 2 and 100. So now we can take this 8 tenths times 2. We want to do a little bit of side math. 2 times 8, 16, carry the 1. 2 times 0, plus the 1. And we have 1 decimal place in the front, behind it, 1 on here. So we've got 1 and 6/10 times 100. Because we're multiplying by 100, remember we have to move that decimal how many places to the right? We need to move it 2 places. So if you need to put an extra 0 or so in there, so we got 1, 2, that's going to give us 160, or a 160 decimal 0. So 8 tenths times 200 is 160. Let's look at the same one using break apart method again with, let's say, 1,000. So we've got 14 hundredths, and this time we're going to multiply it by 3,000. Okay, which one of these can we break apart? Well, we can break apart the 3,000 into 3 times 1,000. So we got 14 hundredths times 3. If we need to do a little bit of side math. So 3 times 4 is 12. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus the 1 is 4. 3 times 0 is 0. We got 2 decimal places to the right here, so we should have 2 decimal places to here. So we've got 42 hundredths times 1,000. And remember, because we're multiplying a decimal by 1,000, we move that decimal 3 places to the right. So we got 1, 2, we want to put an extra 0 in there, 3, so we've got 420. So 14 hundredths times 3,000 is going to be 420. Okay, so that about wraps it up for multiplying decimals by tens, hundreds, and thousands. You guys have a chance here after this lesson to practice a few on your own. Remember, if you guys have any questions or you need some extra help with these, please let me know. I think that's it. So have a great time, guys, and we'll see you next time. Okay, goodbye.